the other day, my friend asked me, would I rather choose Quant or Bitcoin? My response is that I would rather choose Quant, even though nothing I say is financial advice. Let me explain my thought process behind that, because initially my friend was like, whoa, what do you mean by that, man? Take a look at Bitcoin. It's doing so well. I'm totally aware of that. But then here's the thing. Bitcoin, the price is already over $100,000. As a best case scenario, many people are saying, hey, maybe Bitcoin could go to the price of $300,000. So that's like less than a 3x from here slightly. And I'm not saying that's bad by any means if it does happen, because there's no guarantees. But if we take a look at Quant, because it is an altcoin and also because the market cap is way lower, I feel like doing a 3x from where it is as of right now, it wouldn't need as much volume naturally because the market cap isn't as massive as Bitcoin and it'll never be that massive. But I'm just saying, I feel like instead of me believing in the market leader, which is of course Bitcoin in my opinion, instead of me believing in that, why would I not believe in something that could maybe do well if this does do good, and let's say we do a fully fledged type of altcoin season and could go up as a result of that, if that makes sense. Which is why I really do believe in altcoins, and also in this case, I really do like Quant. The reason being is because, again, I feel like in terms of hypothetical upside, this feels more dynamic to me as of right now when compared to Bitcoin. And if let's say we assume Quant were to go to the price of $5,000, maybe if it were to happen, who knows? Only time will tell. But if let's say again, $5,000, the market cap at that point would be around $60 billion considering current circulating supply. Now that's around a 40x from here. But let me address the market cap first, because I don't think it's too much to ask for. Years ago, when I feel like the factors were less bullish than right now, back in 2021, we saw Dogecoin reach over $80 billion in market cap. And I've heard some people out there predicting that Dogecoin's going to reach like 160 billion or whatever. Who knows? But then I'm just saying, if let's say people are saying that and Dogecoin reached that back then, are we saying around 60 billion in terms of market cap is too much to ask for something like Quant? Now, granted, Quant may never reach that, but let's say Quant reaches just like, 30 billion in market cap. Let's say the price is around $2,500. That's still give or take around a 20x. You know what I mean? So then, sure, it may never happen, but then I just kind of feel like Bitcoin doing like a 10x in the next 6 to 10 months, or even like a 5x. I think generally speaking, many people out there would think that is out of the question. You know what I mean? Not saying that it can't happen, because in the world of cryptocurrencies, many things have done very well that some people thought would never do good. So then I'm not going to say or guarantee anything, but then the way you take a look at it is that Quant just feels like it would have an easier time doing, let's say, even just hypothetically a 10x in the next 6 to 10 months, as opposed to something like Bitcoin, which already pumped. People like to say, oh, when is Bitcoin going to pump? It already did, How can something that is over $100,000 and basically in that range of its all-time high, how can that not have quote-unquote pump yet, It already did. And keep in mind, Bitcoin is very rare. I'm totally aware of that. Maximum supply is 21 million. Not to mention, a lot of Bitcoin, is quote-unquote, some people think kind of not accessible, because some people out there who acquired Bitcoin very early on, probably they forgot the password or whatever. And then I've seen some stories like that. So in reality, yes, maximum supply is 21 million, but how much do people really have access to, in the grand scheme of things? That's the way you take a look at it. I get it's very rare, but we have to take a look at Quant. Now, Quant, depending on the kind of place I look at, the maximum supply is either between 14.5 to around 14.8 million. So again, Bitcoin maximum supply is 21 million. Even if we for whatever reason, remove 5 million Bitcoin, I'm not saying it's going to do that, but I'm just saying in this example, that's 60 million, a million more than the maximum supply of something like Quant. So again, I get it. Quant will never gain the popularity. It's never going to gain the fans or the hype of Bitcoin. I'm totally aware of that. But then it is more rare in my opinion. And I would arguably say that the use case, I think, is more diverse, because I get it. Bitcoin is very amazing. Institutional adoption is absolutely fantastic as of right now. But it's mainly just a store of value. There's nothing wrong with that. But then when I take a look at Quant, for instance, right? If we take a look at the Quant network, which is the Overledger OS and the Overledger network. Now, the Overledger OS, what it does is that it allows something called multi-chain applications to be built. So these are applications that are built on top of multiple blockchains instead of just one. And the benefit of this is that people no longer have to be stuck building on only just one blockchain. where that blockchain may have some advantages, but then at the same time may have some disadvantages. So that's where a multi-chain application steps in, allows, for instance, the strengths of one blockchain to be utilized, but then kind of supplementing the weaknesses from another blockchain. That right there would be a total game changer. But then there's not good adoption when it comes to it as of right now. And I'm not surprised by that, by the way, because, things do take time to gain mass adoption, but at least it's very interesting. And I think just from that alone right there, I think the use case is a lot better than something like, Bitcoin. This is just my opinion. However, even besides that, the second thing that makes up the Quant network is something called the Overledger network, and this right here is made up of the Overledger OS users. So the way I take a look at it is that when it comes to something like Quant, it's a very complete project, but then now it's just a waiting game. Take a look at Charles Hoskinson. Charles is not only the co-founder of Ethereum, but he's the founder of Cardano. Back in November of 2024, so last year, he said that 1 to 2 years from then, he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. Assume his worst case scenario price prediction. So again, best case scenario timeline, worst case scenario price prediction. Let's say $250,000 when it comes to Bitcoin by November this year. If that were to happen, are we seeing that Quant even doing like maybe hypothetically a 10x, a 20x, would that be out of the question? That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I mean, just imagine if, let's say, on top of that, we see a fully fledged type of altcoin season. I really do believe that, this could maybe be something that I really pay attention to. Now, granted, I can't tell the future, and I don't think Charles can either, but he's the co-founder of Ethereum and the founder of Cardano. But with the way the markets are heading as of right now, that timeline really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, but again, only time will tell, which is why I'm still staying patient, just acquiring, holding, and just waiting, that's it. And of course, I want to be in the projects that I do believe in. I love altcoins, and I think Quant is very special, and I'd rather choose it over Bitcoin. This is just my opinion. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.